Oh my goodness! I hope we're live. I hit the button. I still ain't got this timing down yet. I mean, how long do I have before I'm actually live? I don't get it.
That's why you need that intro.
Hey, yeah, the intro would be nice. Okay, well, I'm assuming
Someone's
we're
a
live
really
now.
good actor here.
And welcome everybody to another episode of Game Set Live. That's right, episode 45. We got Mr. Riskit4TheBiskit in the house, the man from down under, the man and head of the Xbox Infinite podcast. That's right. We got a good show for y'all today. We're going to start off with the rundown. Mr. Fabio Amorim. Sir.
Yo,
Yes. How have you been?
hello.
And what have you been playing? Yes.
Well, I'm great. Like I've been having so much work lately, and because of that, I wasn't able to make an interview for a show that I host. And yeah, I had to reschedule the third episode of Dev Overtime for next week. But yeah, I've been doing great, even though I have too much work to do. But I've managed to play a little bit of some stuff. NBA 2K23. Just love the franchise mode. I've been playing also Fall Guys because in 2 weeks the Battle Pass will be ending, and I just started playing also Minecraft Legends that just came out on Xbox
Yes.
Game Pass.
On
I
screen
am
now for your viewing pleasure. Yeah.
I am enjoying it, but there are some issues. There
Yes,
are some
there is.
flaws. Like Jesus fucking Christ, I cannot believe they just. But yeah, I am enjoying it. But again, like it started like that with Minecraft Dungeons for me as well. I still enjoy the game, but I just got way too addicted to the point where I play way too much to the point where I just get a tiny little bit bored while playing it because I managed to do almost anything. I got to the max level. I got to the hardest difficulty possible, and yeah, that's what I managed to do.
All right. And then next, the man, the myth, the legend. Boom, boom, kaboom. I don't do it justice. Noof Nukem. How have you been and what have you been playing, sir?
Yes, and you forgot the man who farts during live podcasts. That is me. Boom, boom, kaboom. I am doing great, man. Playing a lot of everything and not as much as I'd like to be. It's been a busy week and a half. I don't know. I've been obviously just kind of wrapped in my head around the NHL hockey playoffs right now, so that's going to take up a lot of my evenings and trying to get out to ride the motorcycle. But when I am gaming, it is Horizon Call of the Mountain on the PlayStation VR2. Been also playing this little gem of a game called After the Fall on PlayStation VR2, which is an absolute blast, and it can be played cross-play with PC players. So pretty decent little base in there for getting people together. God of War Ragnarok. What else have I been playing? Some Fortnite and a few things like that. So otherwise, yeah, a little bit of here and there and everything in between. Backlog is still there. I'll try to get to it, but other than that, glad to be here. Fantastic panel, amazing guest with Riskit. Looking forward to getting into the show, and hello to the chat.
Shit, yeah. And speaking of a Mr. Riskit, sir, how's the weather right now in Australia? How have you been? What have you been playing? And how's the dog?
You see that the priorities. He doesn't want to know how you are first. He wants to know how's the weather
Well,
first.
yeah, if I want to visit, I want to know how to dress. I mean, shoot.
Above, well,
Well,
it's raining big mosquitoes. I don't know. It's Australia,
we're
so
going into our winter, so it's starting to get a little bit cold, a little bit fresh, but it's not freezing. It's always pretty sunny over here, even when it is cold. Dog's good. There's been a lot to play this month. So played a little bit of that Minecraft. I don't mind it. I definitely don't think it's a 5 out of 10. I think that's just absolute bullshit. Fuck you, Metro. And I played Sifu. Sifu is a great game. Really enjoying that game. It is extremely hard, but extremely rewarding. Played a bit of Fortnite like Noof, man. There's been a lot happening this week, so we should have some good topics. I have no idea what they are, but let's get into it. Thanks for having me on the show, man. Oh, and apologies for last week. I struggle with time zones at the moment because I've been working, like Fabio, I've been working my ass off, so I've been trying to juggle work, family, time zones, and I got a lot of, there's probably some family news on the way that I'll share probably in a month or so, but things are getting very busy at home, at work, and in gaming. Jedi Survivor this week too. Jesus, it's a great year. It is a great year.
We have Dead Island 2 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, how dare you! That game is it's actually gotten really good reviews across the board. I'm pumped.
Yeah, so it's broken.
I just want to crack some zombie skulls, man, and it looks like it does that very well.
No, it seems to be quite good, but I just reacted that way because I remembered a gameplay that I saw today actually, which had quite a few bugs. But yeah, it must be
Boba
quite
Fett
fun.
Gaming. Shout out to him. Yeah, he posted his first. I think it was his
Impression.
first 10 minutes in the game, and the thing was broken. He was falling through the map. So it looked pretty rough to me. I was like, I don't know. And then you got to think 9 years in development, 4 different studios. Yeah, it's probably gonna have a few issues.
I think people will be very upset in some ways because
I'll be very upset. I'm a big fan. I've had it pre-ordered for 2 months. I'll be pissed.
Jesus Christ, you really pre-ordered for 2 months before the release?
Yeah, I pre-ordered it 2 months ago. I was like, I'm gonna pump this game up, get it popular, and help it go gold, so that they can't back off of another release, which they did 7-8 years ago.
Right, his penis isn't the only thing that's dead rising in his house.
Bob, come
Why
on.
does my penis always got to come into the conversation? Oh, look who we've got in here right now, Mister.
I mean, it's Noof. He just loves it.
Mr. Bushido, sir, you were able to fend off the family and say, I'm going live. You all leave me alone. Sir, how have you been? What have you been playing?
You all leave me alone.
Too bad, not too bad. Everybody got a little talky in, and they had a good time. And I was like, all right, I'm feeling tired. I can pull that card now. I forgot about that. And it was like, oh, okay, well, we know. I'm sorry. And then here I am.
Yeah.
Woo!
Sad?
So,
Everything okay? Like, you seem so
Riskit for
tired.
the Biscuit. Yes, Mr. Fabio. Everything is sunny in Philadelphia.
What have you been playing? Because every time I've seen you in a party, you've just kind of been chilling like a villain, too glad to be ill, and shooting the shit.
What I'll do is I'll sometimes hide offline, and that way, I got other people that want to play the game sometimes, and I don't feel like it. And I'll jump in a party, and it'll still say I'm offline. So I'll still be playing something though. That's what I told you before. I said if you ever get on and you don't see me, shoot me an invite to a game or whatever if that's what you wanted to do, because I just might be on. More than likely.
Right. Duly noted.
Yeah. So I played Atomic Heart. Finished that. That was actually, I thought it was good.
Right.
I thought it was actually pretty good. I liked the game once I got the hang of it, like from the middle to the end. I would actually give it an 8. The only reason why I wouldn't give it an 8 is because I don't like the protagonist, and I didn't like the story that much. But the gameplay was actually really fun.
Yeah.
And I finished.
It was.
Who is you hiding from, Bushido? You hiding from someone in particular?
I Riskit. That kid.
We got some beef here.
You mean Kith Riskit.
You weren't by chance
It's
hiding
pie
from a certain panelist of Mr. Riskits, were you?
I see Mr. Riskit almost every.
Well, they're the same person, so they can't hide from themselves.
True, they can't hide from themselves.
You can hide from the rest of the world, but you can't hide from me. I don't know where this accent is.
Well, I have been playing. So something I think that's total crap is, so I went out into the garage and I got into my game collection cabinet that I had moved out there. Basically, when I stopped buying.
You got playing games in that room, and you got some stuff out in the free.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I have an entire cabinet that is locked up in the corner of the garage that has every 360 game that I own. That's when I stopped buying physical and I started buying digital when Xbox One launched. Okay, whatever. I love to do it because we always got screwed when we tried to resell our physical games anyway, and this way I just always own them, and that's just all there is to it. So I went out and I was like, man, I'm really jonesing since that Diablo 4 beta. And I'm like, hold on. I have Reaper of Souls for 360. And I brought it in here. I went out to the garage. I got it out of the cabinet. I brought it in here. I put it in my Series X. And it told me, it's not backwards compatible. I'm like, are you serious?
There's a reason why they released Diablo 3 Xbox One version.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
Like, I don't know what you were expecting, honestly, but yeah.
So I went to see how much the game was on the
That was
store.
quite obvious.
It was $50 on the store. And so I was like, no, that's okay. But this week, it's on sale. It's like $17 for the ultimate Diablo 3 experience. Every DLC, everything. So I got it, and I've been playing Diablo 3. And apparently back then, it was saved on Xbox's cloud, your save games, and now they use Bethesda.net for everything. And I don't...
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so I don't have any save games or anything, so I've had to start over from the beginning of Diablo 3. And I've been playing through it, and I love it, and it's kind of scratching that itch for Diablo.
So what'd you say? How much did you say it was? $17. I'm just
like
working that out. I think
if you have Game Pass, it's like $17.92.
Yeah, so over in Australia that'd be $39,999 $95 dues in Australia.
Yes.
Or 16 kangaroo pelts, whichever comes first.
We actually use kangaroo ball sacks for purses.
Oh,
I don't know I am not lying about this. This is 110% true. Is you can buy a kangaroo ball sack with a zipper on it for a purse for your lady. I'm just saying it's an accessory that you must have if you come to Australia.
Is it soft? Is it like really soft, like suede leather almost?
It you must have.
It's soft and furry.
Ooh.
Okay, I might use that as a present for Valentine's Day for my girlfriend. But yeah,
well, I don't believe they wash them though, so just heads up.
Shit.
So I've been playing Diablo 3, and that's been scratching the itch. And I've done some work on Dead Space remake. I've worked on Callisto Protocol a little bit. I've dabbled in Resident Evil 4 remake, just trying to not really dedicating to any game specifically, just trying to chip away at that backlog. And then this game on screen came out, and I love real-time strategy games, and this kind of gives... It reminds me a lot, if you remember an old Command & Conquer game called Renegades, where it was a shooter / real-time strategy game. This is a hack and slash RPG / RTS. And
real quick, he is telling the truth.
Yes, I am.
I'm not making it up.
What?
I'm not making it up.
Yes.
No.
He is actually telling the truth.
And
I don't know what's the most absurd, the fact that it is actually true, or the fact that you actually decided to make a research of that.
I didn't have to research it. I played it.
Like, I don't know what's the most absurd. Bob, you didn't get it? Seriously?
I didn't get it. Chat, help me out here. Just
You can't
bash everybody on this
serious.
panel right now for
can't
being mean to Bob. That's bullshit.
You can't be serious, Bob.
I think they're talking about the ball sacks, Bob.
They're still talking about the ball sacks?
Yeah, look at that.
Man.
True.
I ordered mine real quick when he said something, and then I'm not worried about it no more. I know I got one coming. That's right.
It's like $20.
Mine's got balls. Mine's gonna have balls in it too. They're gonna be like Benoit balls for like meditating and calming down. Yeah.
I'm so like imagining Bushido like he can be, and then he's just typing on Google.
Gosh.
Oh, I was like, what the fuck? Like I just couldn't get it out of my head.
Listen, we'll try to move back to Bob, but I just want to. I'll paste it for everyone in the chat. If you guys want a kangaroo scrotum purse for your lady, just head to there and purchase one.
Yep, there it is. Souvenirs in Australia.
Honestly, just put an image from Google
It's
in
like,
the
hey,
podcast.
what'd you bring me
Forget the
back from Australia on your trip? Oh, I brought you a kangaroo ball sack. Yeah.
Like, stop playing. It's really good.
I mean, I'm
Oh.
pretty sure that every guy that buys one of those does a comparison. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, why
He's-
don't you
I wouldn't want to
propose?
embarrass myself.
I mean,
He's
why
saying
don't
this
you
from experience. He's actually held it up to actually because he's never been able to get close enough to a kangaroo in order to actually
Yeah.
test it out in person. So yeah, he's done it.
Those things will kill you. They will
mean, like-
literally kill you.
I'm
Yeah,
just
they're,
imagining like ball sacks. I thought they were a legend, a myth. What are you doing?
Oh gosh. But anyway, I do have to. There are some things that I'm sure me and Fabio will touch on that need to be fixed in Minecraft Legends, but about 25% of the game needs to have a little bit, a little love and attention given to it. The other 75% is amazing. The world is beautiful. The colors are vibrant, and when they say procedurally generated and no playthrough will ever be the same, they are correct. I played this game for several hours by myself, getting some gameplay and whatnot, and just kind of trying to make it to where I didn't look like a total noob for the game capture. And then I decided to hop into my wife's world, and the two were nothing alike. It was really, I mean, even the biomes were in different locations. It was completely like you just actually played started a game of Minecraft, and the world is just generated from the time you start. So it's really cool. It's really beautiful, but damn it, the mobs you control, they need to stop falling off of high up ledges, and I need to stop going down and getting them because that just bugs the shit out of me.
Ramps.
Yeah, that and the they don't do what you tell them to do, man. Like at the beginning of the game, it's like gives you that, hey, go press Y for attack or B to go here. Man, half of them decide to do it, and the other half just ignore what you're saying. So like, it's a pretty disgruntled army.
Yeah, fuck you.
I didn't like I had no necessarily issues with the army itself, but I had issues first of all when I just booted the game. I was on the title screen, and then it was connecting to your profile, and it was like this for 20 minutes until the moment I discovered that there is a bug where the game just stays stuck in that fucking loading screen, and you need to restart it. Maybe multiple times, depending on how fucking lucky you are. But the other issue that I had was mostly about the ramps. Like, it is nonsensical the way you have to be good using the controller to build ramps and other structures in this game.
But hey, we have Power Man 4K 30 frames per second, aka Weapon X Machina.
What?
Here.
AKA Phil Spencer hated. No, just kidding.
Back 51.
Sir, you just came in at the end of intros. So how have
Yeah.
you been? What have you been doing? And have you got your boxing gloves on?
Oh my god. So yeah, sorry I was late, guys. I got caught on construction on the Pike. And it took a little longer to get home than I thought. But yeah, I've been doing. Me and my son have been playing some ranked Call of Duty, which has been really fun. So we've been playing that together, and I got rid of my PC today, so I have that's my 5th Xbox in the house now. I got a Series X for my wife, so I have me, her, my son has a Series S, and then I think I have like maybe one or two 1S's upstairs. I'm not really sure. I don't really use those too much. My daughters use those, but so we've been doing that, mostly just like playing Call of Duty. I have been trying to clean some stuff up on Hogwarts Legacy, but I'm actually shocked how big that game is. I was not prepared for the size of that game. It actually came as a surprise to me.
Maybe the scale of the game.
Yeah, no, just like how much shit there is to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of side quests, and the side quests are like they have meat to them. They're not just like filler nonsense. It's like, you know, they're chunky. You know what I'm saying? Like they have weight to them. So, to So I've been kind of savoring that. I haven't been like in a huge rush to like just like push through that game hard, because I enjoy like whenever I feel like I want to hit some of that I can. You know what I mean? So I've been doing that, and yeah, I mean mostly like I said, me and my son, he's gotten really into Call of Duty since I got it for him for his birthday last month. So he's been excited. So it's been fun to party up with him, and I mainly got it because listen, it's like Xbox are great and the PC, but it's still not the same, dude. Like we can't like get invites with each other, and it's just much more simple just to play with each other on the Xbox. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What the?
Every time I get an Xbox invite, it pops up on my PC screen before it does my Xbox screen.
Yeah,
Right.
and then you got to hit the game bar, and then you got to, you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes the audio doesn't attach to the right mic. It's just a pain in the ass, dude. And, like,
Yeah.
I'm just sick of PC. I can't stand it. Like, I'm tired of watching temperatures and like, is my driver's gonna, mess up this game or that game? It's just, console is much more simple.
All right. So the
Yeah.
full panel and the guest
Well,
is
that's
here.
probably Phil Spencer's fault. No, I'm kidding.
At least 80%, I think. I would give most of the credit for that.
For some
man.
of you out there, and for some of you on the panel that haven't heard, if you may be wondering where Ultimus Gaming is no longer a full-time member of the show. We had such an issue with basically having so many members and so many guests that it really there wasn't enough time for everybody to talk. It would draw out topics much longer than the audience was really wanting to hear them, and then the guests didn't get to talk much, and so Ultimus is still in our Discord. He still has all the privileges that he did at once before, and we will call him in whenever we need. We have a panelist that is tending to life's duties and can't make the show. You will see Ultimus Gaming here, I promise you. But we should get started.
Stay here forever.
Fabio,
Just so
what
I
is
do.
it? Fabio, what is it?
I'm just loving the sound effects that he's adding to the show. It adds so much depth.
I just discovered that you've got a soundboard, and I was like, "Oh shit, he's got a soundboard. I'm gonna use this." Can we do this every time it's someone's turn to talk?
Everyone has a 5-minute time to make their arguments during the discussion of the topic. And then by
Yeah,
the
Bob,
end
you
of
gotta-
it, this could just
you gotta You gotta do that when you've had enough of someone like talking. You're like, "Ah!"
That's actually funny because that's one of the things I'm contemplating for my new podcast. Is I'm like tempted to do like a timer.
"Time's up, motherfucker."
So like, you get like the fucking Jeopardy music playing, do 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 do. It's time to fucking shut up. Now.
I know we covered this last week. And for the chat, I do want to shout out Thember, the non-show, non-panelist moderator, keeping the streets in the chat safe for everybody. We appreciate you, sir. Red Dead Panda. Look, Billy Sigard. I haven't seen him before. Welcome. Palpatine in the chat. We've got Riskit, you don't count. You're in the show. Somebody else. Oh, MacBound in the chat. Look at that. Yeah. Okay.
Count.
Yeah, I know. Fraud. Anyway. Oh, man.
The Lady Red Dead Panda. That's my
Share it
girl. I
out.
love
Tell
her.
a buddy or two. We're going to get into the meat and potatoes of the show. And, yeah, hit that like button. It really helps out. And first topic, and I do have to get into this because I was really looking forward to his rant last week until he got his time zones mixed up and he couldn't be on the show. So we are going to start off with Mr. Riskit4TheBiskit.
And biscuits are not cookies are cookies, not biscuits. All right. Just
Yeah,
wanna-
but I want to know, will you be playing Redfall at 30 frames a second?
No, I definitely won't be playing Redfall at 30 frames a second. And I did cover this,
know
but
you
I
did.
kept kept pretty quiet about this on not quiet. I said my piece and I moved on, and I think that that's what we all should sort of do. I mean, and I know that we haven't. I was supposed to be here last week to talk about this, and I was sort of hoping to, but now's I guess a good time as any. But I said my piece and I moved on. Now watch the community just tear itself apart. And look, this happened again with me, or previously with me with Starfield. And then someone said to me, well, it's a different thing. And see, to me, it's not a different thing, right? It's still a broken promise. So you promised 60 frames, you didn't deliver. That's a broken promise. It's something that Microsoft has been misstepping with. I'm not saying that we should, that I've lost faith in them completely. I don't probably won't trust their marketing beats as much as I used to. But it's the same thing, man. It's just Microsoft misstepping again. They need to get that stuff in order. We're talking about it in the green room. And now look, Weapon X Machina, or Power Man said earlier in the week, and I I just caught this recently, otherwise I probably would have responded, that, you know, Phil should be on notice, I think was the current gist. I don't know if you were trolling, but in my view, it's not. This is definitely on Phil. It's definitely on Phil. It's definitely on Matt. It's on everyone from Phil on down. Like, absolutely. It's on Pete Hines. But it's a bit of a nuanced thing. But I think if you going to that extreme over this is a little bit much. I mean, it's not a massive deal. 60 frames is coming. And yes, we've been told that, you know, couch co-op was coming with Halo and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, whether it does come or not, who knows? But I think for what Phil has done for the brand, and for us as gamers, you got to remember they were having that conversation back in 2014 about whether or not they should continue even supporting the Xbox. And we only have an Xbox because of Phil. That goodwill can only carry you so far. I completely understand that. But he's continued to take the brand from strength to strength, in my opinion. You know, we've got Game Pass. He's made bigger and bigger deals. He's about to close, and he will close the biggest deal in gaming, and one of the biggest deals ever made in the world. So he's done quite a lot for the brand. And I think dropping the leadership team over 30 frames per second is extremely drastic. And you're not the only one who had that sentiment. You know, there was other people that I'll name him as well. Xbox Uni, I was pretty surprised to see him saying that the leadership needs to go. Is there things that need to happen? Yeah, fucking A. There's things that need to happen. So they definitely need to. I think Matt Booty's job has grown. I was just saying this in the green room before, you know, exponentially. It's grown 10 times. He's got 10 times the amount of studios to deal with. So he's got a lot to handle. And I think he needs a team under him that really does have a bit of a hand into the studios, because I do believe that they've taken the same sort of approach with every studio. That hands-off approach works with some studios, and with other studios, they need more of a hands-on approach. But as well, you've also got to think of the nuance of this, like they've, as well as, you know, Matt Booty's job growing, the job at Microsoft for Phil Spencer and leadership team has also grown. It is huge, and there's a lot on their plate at the moment. And there's a lot of nuance to Redfall releasing as it's releasing. Now, delay is always better than the alternative. So with Starfield, I support the delay. What I didn't support was the messaging, the 12 months messaging. And with Redfall, I definitely support a delay there. And again, it's the messaging that's the problem. That they promised 60 frames, they didn't deliver on it. I think at this point, when it comes to tech specs and all that sort of stuff, that Microsoft and Xbox just need to quiet down a little bit and push the game, not its technical prowess, not its, you know, I think with Starfield, we're all a little bit concerned, right? So, you know, with that, where's the marketing? I think Noof in the chat just said, Aaron, they need to call Aaron Greenberg Aaron Iceberg. I don't think it's him specifically. I think it's the budget and the planning around that. So,
What do you mean for the situation?
Yeah, well, I think God of War Ragnarok, that was all over buses in my town, and I live in one of the.
Oh, you're talking about advertising now. I thought you were still on the frame. Sorry. Okay.
You know, they need to push these games and stop talking about the technical of it. Like, really push the games. It shouldn't be left to people like Colt Eastwood to really market these games. It should be on the side of billboards. We should be seeing Starfield shit everywhere right now, but we're not. So there's a lot of missteps that they're making, but as a whole, as a brand, they've only got better. And, on the way to the top, you're making mistakes. So, and I do believe they're on an up and up.
So basically, was the main problem.
Definitely not in Japan, though.
Like basically, the main problem with Xbox would be, in my opinion, mostly in terms of marketing and what they are talking about. Because you guys remember when before the Xbox Series X, and even before the announcement of this Xbox Series S, we had Xbox decided to make a third-party event announcing that it was going to be the first time we were going to see next-gen gameplay. And then at the end of the day, it was just trailers and not gameplay. So like they are somehow they are managing to very frequently make the same mistake over and over and over by announcing something that's like, oh yeah, this is the first time we're going to see next gen gameplay, and then it isn't. These are the next games there, the next releases that we are going to be having for the next 12 months of Xbox, and it didn't happen. And this gameplay is running on the Xbox Series X and S and is going to have 60 FPS, and then it doesn't. So like, what's going on there?
I think their culture is too lax. I think they're giving employees like 14,000 mental health days a year, and they're not really pushing deadlines. Because they've even come out and said how they're against the crunch in game development, and that's just part of game development. That's how you ensure in the last when you're in the final stretch, when you're in the last 10 months to release, you've got deadlines that have to be met, and you have jobs that have to get done.
It's called a deadline. They obviously don't work in the construction industry, do they? Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think there's a difference between. I'm sorry. I'll be
go ahead.
very like. I think there's a difference between crunch and overtime. Overtime, I think it's acceptable. Crunch is like, I think it can be quite an abuse. Like there's people that are actually not sleeping and even have to sleep in their
But crunch is fine if you're getting paid for it. So if you're getting paid, so to me, if you're sleeping in the, I've had instant like this. The job I'm doing now, I fly in, I work for a week, and I fly out. I've worked my entire R&R. I've worked this entire week, probably at least a few hours a day. But I've worked as a chef as well, where I've worked 6-7 days a week, 16 hours a day, and didn't get paid for it, right? But that was just the job. That's what you had to do. Well, I think the game development is that crunch is part of the job, but pay them for that. You know what I mean? That needs to be taken into account. And I think a lot of the problem is that these guys, they're sleeping in their in the offices, they're working, crazy hours and not getting paid for it. Now, if you're paying people for crunch, then I personally don't have a problem with it. I got no issue with people working hard. I think people should work hard to bring these games out. I think it's something that Microsoft needs to do, but pay the motherfuckers to do the job. Exactly. And if you pay people, then I think that crunch is not an issue in my personal opinion. And I'm going to be an old guy and say I feel like it's a millennial problem. But don't quote me on that.
So to answer, I want to answer Thimber in the chat. The question that came by Bob: tell me what you prefer, Xbox on the gaming sites for crunch overtime, or for having a game that works just fine at 30 FPS. Well, I mean, that's what we're saying. I believe that they made that release date announcement for Redfall, not really taking into account the crunch period that Arcane might have been in, and which just made the situation, which is exacerbated the situation, and now we see that they're not going to be able to make the deadline with all the testing and 60 frames a second during every part of the game and make sure it's stable. And so I mean, I wouldn't add a performance mode if I knew it wasn't going to be stable a third of the game. No, I would hold it back and say it's not ready for release. And so yeah, the part of
and when you
that's on
talk about
Xbox.
when you talk about crunch as well, you're talking about a game that's usually game development cycles anywhere from 4 to recently 7 years. And what's the max sort of crunch you would expect to see would be around about 6 months max crunch. You know, I mean, I suppose it might blow out to a year for some games. But what's that in a percentage up against the amount of years that you're developing the game? You know it's coming as well, and I think these studios need to put, some more people on for this as well. It's partly studios, but also I think, that it shouldn't be accepted if it's done right. I don't have a problem with it. They should be preparing for this.
Yeah.
We had I had right after the show last week, I still had stuff on my mind about that too. So I hit up Deli again and asked him for some clarification on certain things, on how that works. And man, he gave me stuff I did not understand. And I was like, listen, talk to me like I was 6. And
He started drawing.
He started drawing on a piece of paper.
it was so much detail. I was like, are you serious? Like, it was just so much. It's more than anything we ever imagined that goes into crunch. I mean, into gaming. First of all, when he was here last week, he actually confirmed they actually do crunch. Because remember, he said he was supposed to be working 40 hours a week, but then when it's time for crunch, they do 80 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to sleep in the office. And remember, like Risky is trying to say, they get paid a salary. And he said that he knew that would be a thing, but at the same time, I think that he was trying to say that he would love to get paid for it instead of doing all that time for nothing. Now, I don't know how much they get paid. I know some of the averages is like about 75,000, 150,000, something like that. But still, though, like even if I'm getting paid a salary and I got to work like that for like 6 months and sleeping inside the facilities and things like that, that's pretty rough, man. But he knew that was going to be the case. But the 60 frame things, I had to ask again. I said, all right, look, tell me again what exactly could be the issue. And he still went back to the same thing. When you install it, of course, there's no button because he said, man, I wish it was just a button just to do it. He said, but what happens is when you go to do it, you run into a bug and that bug might break the game for 60. So you work on that. So I was like, all right, so why would they push the game out? And he was like, because of marketing. Marketing already went and put out a date, just like I forgot which one of you guys said that. Marketing put out a date already. And once they put out a date without talking to nobody, he said they never talked to them. He said they just put out a date. Like, yeah, this is long enough. And then they go to them like, yo, man, we need more time than that. And they're like, do what you got to do, man. Ain't nothing going to change. And so now they're stuck. So I kind of feel for them now, knowing some of the information, what they go through. So it makes it a lot plainer to see that it's not necessarily Phil or well, listen, I got gripes with Aaron Greenberg and his marketing, so we'll get on that. But or anybody else is more of, it seems like, between marketing and management that's managing the teams. Is what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
every
they all
time I
need to go.
do dev,
All of them.
that's always the thing that keeps coming up. Is that he's not checking on guys. He's not handing out assignments. He's not doing this until it gets late in the game. And then when the bigger boss comes over to him and says, hey, how are we going? He's like, yeah, everything's great. But at the same time, he's not telling them like, hey, man, we're stuck on this bug. And he said a lot of times they'll just be like, no, everything's good. We should be on time. But he'll sit there and be like, yo, man, I'm working on this bug. What are you talking about? And we've been working on it for 2 months.
Which is why we need to fire Phil Spencer, right, Power Man?
Listen, man, I'm glad you said something to me. Okay, first things first. Okay, I want to remind you guys, all of us are kind of older, right? Everybody was here. Everybody was gaming in the 360 era. Everybody remembers that.
Yeah, sure do.
Right. I mean, we can all kind of Okay, so I remember a time in the time of like Peter Moore, right, when Xbox was aggressive in their marketing, when they were out there like nailing third-party deals. nailing second party deals, had banger exclusives. I remember there was a time when the 360, for the most of the generation, right, was dominating the PS3 until the very end. Sony just kept pushing out, and they finally, squeezed it out. So I'm coming from that era, even from the OG Xbox, right? So for me, I'm looking at it like, listen, Phil's a nice guy, man, and a lot of the guys in the upper echelon of management are nice people. They're on social media, they're talkative, they interact with their community.
They're gamers.
I respect that. I respect the fact that they're gamers. However, at the end of the day, just like I would say with any of my employees that I staff or anybody else that I work in my field, you can be the nicest guy in the world, man, but at the end of the day, you need to deliver results, right? And so I think back and I'm like, okay, well, Redfall is a very important game, and people were like actually confused as to why I was so upset about Redfall, because Redfall is very important. And it's important because outside of Gears, Halo, and Forza, it is the first big major AAA game that's going to be launching under Phil Spencer, outside of Gears, Halo, and Forza, right? This is the first major AAA title that's coming out of this and out of this the start of the acquisitions, right? Hi-Fi Rush, smaller game, awesome, cool thing that they shadow dropped, but there's a reason why they shadow dropped it. It's not big. They weren't going to market it anyways. So not only did they drop the ball on the marketing for Redfall, but then they misled us into thinking that we were going to get a premier experience by giving us 60 FPS trailers nonstop, and then we get 30 FPS. So to me, it's like, okay, this right here is supposed to be the start of Xbox's turn into what is being dubbed as the dam breaking open, the river breaking wide into the. We were told a game every quarter, and we were told a AAA title every 3 or 4 months at one point. And we're here in 2023. We're 3 years into the gen, almost 4 years into the gen, and we're still, in my opinion, where we were back in 2017 when the 1X dropped, and there was nothing for the 1X to take advantage of. We all know that the Series X is more than capable of running these games at 60 frames or higher. There's no reason that it can't. It's a closed box system with 12 T-flops. With the 1.3 teraflop Xbox One ran Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, there's no excuse, because Redfall does not look as good as Red Dead. It does not look as good as Doom Eternal. It does not look as good as even Gears 5 or anything else, right? This game does not look like it should be as demanding as it is.
So there is reasons though. So there's probably no excuse, but there is definitely reasons, and there's a nuance to it you gotta think about, which would negate your view that Phil Spencer's completely to blame and he should go. First of all, it's the first time they've ever worked with UE4. Second of all, this game was being built for 2 systems to begin with. So they had the PS5 in mind, PC, and the Xboxes in mind when they were building this game. We don't know if they had the Xboxes in mind. Maybe PlayStation was talking, PlayStation exclusivity deal as well. We don't know that. So this game was not built for the Series X. This game was not ground up built for the Series X. Now there is tools you can use, but there's a lot of tool talk that's gone up around this, and people tend to forget or don't understand. I think is probably the main issue that people don't understand. I mean, I've even heard some of the bigger YouTube talk about using the tools. Yes, there's tools that you can use. There's FSR 2.0. We know about that. Big proponent of that. You guys know that. There's VRS. There is other tools that you can put into play with your game, but you still need to build the game to accept that. Now, sometimes FSR 2.0 has a cost on the CPU that's not worth it. And so it's not worth using it because it actually creates more costs than it saves, right? And that just depends on how you build your game. When it comes to all the other tools that are available within DX12 and as well RDNA, some of those tools you need to build your game from the ground up to use, and that obviously was never gonna happen here. That was never
Right.
a thing. Like this is a game that was being built prior to the acquisition. You know, it's you can't at this point. This is not the game I expect to see the power of Series X being shown on. Starfield is not even the game that I expect the power of the Series X to be shown on. Again, it was already being built. What I mean, when I'll really kick up and say, all right, now something needs to change, there needs to be a management shuffle or something, is if we start getting games like Fable, that I assume at this point, that it's being built from the ground up. Any of these ground up games like Hellblade 2 that are being built for the Series X, if they come out not using these tools, or they come out without their 60 modes, if they come out being less than stellar, then I would probably lean more towards your view. Look, I'm a big fan of Phil Spencer. I don't think I would ever be saying get rid of him. But there's a lot more nuance, and I don't think it's time to be having this conversation. I think you're a little bit early on the jump.
Maybe so, but let me. I want to address just one thing. So when you talked about Redfall and you said that they use Unreal Engine 4, right? They never used it before. See, like this is what I'm talking about when it comes to like upper management. See, I look at things because I manage like large groups of people. That's what I do for my job. So like I'm thinking in my head, okay, well, we have a stable of assets, right? People that are under
him, but
Phil and Aaron and whoever. Now, I think who's the master of Unreal Engine, in your opinion? Like, what studio has mastered?
Yeah, so they had these.
When you talk about
if you go back and you listen to Matt Booty and some of his interviews, they have had these meetings, these conversations where they have sat down with some of the masters, but you can't pull a full game studio off. Like, what's the point of having a studio if you've got to pull a coalition across to build your game? You can definitely use their expertise and the sense of people over which they are doing. That has been done in software with it over to help with the shooting. So they do use the interpretation. They had these. So if you go back and you listen to Matt Booty and some of his interviews, they have had these meetings, these conversations where they have sat down with some of the masters, but you can't pull a full game studio off. Like, what's the point of having a studio if you've got to pull a coalition across to build your game? You can definitely use their expertise and the sense of people over which they are doing. That has been done in software with it over to help with the shooting. So they do use the interpretation. They had these. So if you go back and you listen to Matt Booty and some of his interviews, they have had these meetings, these conversations where they have sat down with some of the masters, but you can't pull a full game studio off. Like, what's the point of having a studio if you've got to pull a coalition across to build your game? You can definitely use their expertise and the sense of people over which they are doing. That has been done in software with it over to help with the shooting. So they do use the interpretation. They had these. So if you go back and you listen to Matt Booty and some of his interviews, they have had these meetings, these conversations where they have sat down with some of the masters, but you can't pull a full game studio off. Like, what's the point of having a studio if you've got to pull a coalition across to build your game? You can definitely use their expertise and the sense of people over which they are doing. That has been done in software with it over to help with the shooting. So they do use the interpretation. They had these. So if you go back and you listen to Matt Booty and some of his interviews, they have had these meetings, these conversations where they have sat down with some of the masters, but you can't pull a full game studio off. Like, what's the point of having a studio if you've got to pull a coalition across to build your game? You can definitely use their expertise and the sense of people over which they are doing. That has been done in software with it over to help with the shooting. So they do use the interpretation. They had these. So if you go back and you listen to Matt Booty and some of his interviews, they have had these meetings, these conversations where they have sat down with some of the masters, but you can't pull a full game studio off. Like, what's the point of having a studio if you've got to pull a coalition across to build your game? You can definitely use their expertise and the sense of people over which they are doing. That has been done in software with it over to help with the shooting. So they do use the interpretation. They had these. So if you go back and you listen to Matt Booty and some of his interviews, they have had these meetings, these conversations where they have sat down with some of the masters, but you can't pull a full game studio off. Like, what's the point of having a studio if you got to pull a coalition across to build your game? You can definitely use their expertise and the sense of people over which they are doing. That has been done in software with over to help with the shooting. So they do use the interpret. They have these. So if you go back and you listen to Matt Booty and some of his interviews, they have had these meetings, these conversations, where they have sat down with some of the masters, but you can't pull a full game studio off. Like, what's the point of having a studio if you got to pull a coalition across to build your game? You can definitely use their expertise and the sense of people over which they are doing. That has been done.
Riskit4 to the point where they are restructuring the entire leadership, many employees, as well as multiple teams at the development team for the multiplayer. Like, you see that it's not necessarily Phil Spencer is the guy that saw like and said, "Fuck it, that's it." No, like the studio had their issues. I said, "No, Phil, no more, no worries at all. Like the game is fine. We can show to people. It's all good. It's great." And then the backlash was what we got.
Yeah, and like I get
think
that,
that-
but
I
I'll give
think
you guys
the
a
reason
sports
behind that is-
analogy.
I think sometimes we forget, and sometimes we think that our job and what we've experienced at our jobs are the same everywhere, and it's not. Experience with dealing with management of a software team is nowhere near like me managing somebody at Arby's or managing a construction site or a telemarketing company. We don't even know how it even works, how the workload is handed out, anything. Everything we say is an assumption, but we talk as if it's a fact, as if it's a known fact that you should just get in there and kick those developers' butts. But they're nerdy guys. You think that they're construction workers and it's going to work for them and they're going to be like, yeah, rah, rah. No, that's not how it works. Everything doesn't work for everybody. You have to manage everybody. Listen, if you got kids, you would know you can't treat each kid the same because each kid's different. You have to be harder on one kid because he's hard-headed. You have to be less hard on another one because she's doing great. So it's the same thing when it comes to this. We don't know what's going on, but we talk like we know it's a fact. And I think that's the thing that kind of bugs me.
I see that, but I also know that at the end of the day, so I look at it like this. If I just bought a new car, right? I just recently bought a new car. I just got this new car. I expect this brand new car to work, right? And now let's say that I get a major mechanical issue as soon as I buy this vehicle. Now, me personally, I'm not going to go say, oh, well, making cars is hard, and those guys probably, they probably were under a lot of stress and pressure. No, I need my car and I need it to work. You know what I mean? So I understand that that's a lot different than video games because these things aren't necessary. But I also do understand the amount of money that's tied up in these things. And I just feel like there needs to be more a sense of urgency or I guess passion behind each of these titles, and I just don't feel like that's happening.
Power man. How do you know what is giving you the vibe to make you feel that way? Like what's tangible?
The lack of games,
not
man.
That you just feel, but what's tangible that makes you feel like they're not taking it seriously?
Because there's nothing tangible. Like if we had tangible games that were showing up, I would feel
I'm not trying to disrespect your point. I'm really not. But you're talking as if, like, for a fact, but you're not giving me a reason why you feel like hey, I don't think they're taking it seriously. Well, what did you see to make you feel that way? Now, if you want to say that I don't like how management is going, I don't know what's going on, but at the same time, I think that this, and that, that's fine. But you can't talk as if you know what's going on there, because I don't even know. I'm not defending nothing, but I'm a literal person. So you give me something, I could go off of that.
Well, I mean, if you want to look at it, look at the rest of the industry.
I'm just going to say this
Sony
much.
and look at Nintendo. Yeah. I mean, they're both delivering, and Xbox isn't.
But see, here we go again. Because if I bring up Sony or PlayStation in the beginning, somebody will say this ain't about Sony. But like
Nope.
I always
I'm
said,
gonna,
Hey,
I'm gonna
let
keep
Noob
my
talk.
I'm gonna keep my point real short and sweet here, but I'm just gonna say this. Look, I think a lot rides on the way this end of this year plays out. We're nearly 3 years in now to the Xbox Series console generation. I feel that the momentum is slowly slipping away instead of ramping up, which shouldn't be
I
the
agree.
case. I think a lot comes down on Xbox's showcase. They're saying this one is going to be a big one, according to like even I think
Yeah, they
Sarah
say that
Bond or
every
somebody
year.
would say that. But that's right, they say that every year.
They say it every year, dude.
Um, but there has to be no excuses. This has to be like this is the one where they can't hold their cards back any longer. They are starting to lose faith. Every little thing. It's not just about 60 frames a second shit and stuff like that. It's just the entire message. It's just again they're losing momentum. Like even diehard fans like me, and we've seen it across the board. People that have notoriously tried to defend Xbox at every turn. We're just getting sick of it now. Like it's becoming monotonous. It's just like it feels like the right hand doesn't know what the left is doing anymore. Like, are they biting off too much, more than they can chew? Are they too focused in other areas where they shouldn't be? Is it all about Game Pass and nothing else? Like somebody said this the other day, and I'm sorry, I have to agree. I feel like when it comes to the console part of Xbox's business plan, which they obviously don't put enough emphasis into anymore, right? Because I feel like that's the difference between this. Sony still puts priority behind the PlayStation and their games on PlayStation first before anything happens on PC. I feel like it's not necessarily that case with Xbox. I don't know why this is and why, like I said, it feels like they're so uh, straying so far away from the. And I said this 2 years ago. I said, why is it so bloody hard to get a Series X but so easy to get a Series S? And people give me the excuses, well, the components are different and it's easier and blah, 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 and it's the most affordable. I get the most affordable option part of the equation, right? Easier to get them into homes. But my thing was, and I've said this all along, the reason they haven't touted or haven't even pushed the Xbox Series X as much is because I think, one, yes, it's a harder sell because it's more expensive, and two, because with the Series S, what do you think is about a 90% chance you buy with Series S? A Game Pass subscription, right? It's an all-digital platform. It's not necessarily that case, and that's a small part of the equation. But look, I'll keep again. I'll end it off and just say this. Look, I think Phil has done a pretty good job of getting Xbox back on track, but I'm not quite sure. I don't know. I just feel like right now he's a little over his head. They got so many studios. I think again they're trying to play the nice guy. They're trying to give them like leeway and freedom. But look, freedom to make games doesn't need to start turning into 5-year, 7-year, 10-year projects. At some point in time, like I said, results have to be done. There has to be a push. There has to be something. If these guys can't handle that, they need to get out of the kitchen or find a new career, because every career you're into, no matter what it is, there are deadlines, there are expectations to be met. And I can damn well to you, if my boss asked me tomorrow if I went to work, I need this, and this done. You give me a timeline for it. How many hours you need or how many days? And I say 2 days. I come back there 2 days and it's still not done. He says, okay, so you're done yet? No, I'm not done. All right, how much longer is it? Well, maybe give me at least one more day. I come back another day. Guess what? It's not done. This shit happens in the game world too. Like they are no different than everybody else. And if it's an engine problem, if they're struggling all the time with engines, and I think somewhere along the line, they all need to sit down and they need to start coming up with ways to start simplifying the process and making it easier. Because that's what I was always told, or I always expected, that with Unreal Engine and all these other engines, that was a big part of the reason of doing some of it, is to simplify the process, make gaming easier, have more assets at your disposal, be able to kind of use resources that are already pre-drawn or pre-animated or whatever to speed up the processes. And it starts becoming the same old. And again, one more year removed from this, we cannot keep going back to the COVID bullshit, okay? Like at some point in time, everybody else got shit done, right? My house got built through fucking COVID. The contractors had to come in one at a time and build my house, but guess what? It got done, okay? Look, I'm not going to sit here and make defense. I'm not a developer. I don't know all this stuff, but all I got to say is, look, Phil, he's got to get stuff on track here. Satch's patience is going to wear thin. If the numbers start to plummet and start going backwards, it's going to be big. So again, it's going to come down to June. That's step number one. June needs to deliver. June needs to restore faith in Xbox and the brand. And after that, it's going to come down to the fall. And it's going to come down to Starfield. And I'm telling you right now, no game, even past Halo, right now has as much pressure as Starfield. And if this fucking thing fizzles and doesn't come out and smack people, and it just becomes one of those, more like an Xbox meme by the time December is over, shit's going to hit the fan. It's not going to be a pleasant scenery. I'm telling you that right now. I hate to be the Starfield developer, guys, because I'm sure they're feeling the weight of this, and that's why they're taking their time, because they need to get it right. But I can say this much: the game better come out this year, because if it gets delayed into next year, it's fucking game over, man. I'm telling you, this shit is gonna blow up, and it's not gonna be pretty. So I'll leave it at that, man. Shit got to get done. I love Phil Spencer, full confidence in him for the time being, but I'd say he's got one more year to start making it look like Xbox knows what the fuck they're doing. Because right now, whether it's the media, it's the game players, it's YouTube content creators, everybody's starting to wonder, what the fuck is going on with Xbox? Because studios are losing people left, right, and center. Their Halo studios is losing people all over the place. Every time I turn around now, it's an exodus. I mean, fuck, they lost Rod Ferguson, they lost Mike Empire. Those guys went over to Activision Blizzard, which ironically is now underneath the purchasing window of coming back to under the Xbox umbrella. But, when you start losing all of these big name people, you have to start wondering why. People always say, well, maybe they got a better job offer. Yeah, that could be the case in some scenarios. I don't think that's the case in every one. They even brought that guy in to take over the initiative, and he fucking left, 6 months after he started, and he walked out. Went back to, what was it, Naughty Dog or one of those studios over there?
Yeah, no. He wasn't taking over the initiative. No. He was working with it underneath, what's the name of the guy? He's the ex-Crystal Dynamics head, which is probably why they brought Gallagher, yeah. Why they brought back in Crystal Dynamics to help with that. Don't you think, like all valid points, but don't you think all that begs is that you need to get these guys more assistance. Like you need a little bit more management structure. You need a little bit more oversight. You know what I mean? I'm not a big proponent of being a shop floor worker like most of my life. I've always worked, with my hands, manual labor, looking up at management. I'm in a management role now, but I would say in some circumstances, it's usually never good to be top heavy, but in some circumstances, these guys' workload's obviously too much for them. It's just ridiculous how quickly it's grown, and you haven't seen the management team grow. And that to me is a little bit telling, So if you haven't seen the management team growing, but the workload's gotten sort of 10 times bigger, that's going to manifest itself in less than perfect ways. And I think that's what we're seeing. Yeah, I agree with you. I think give Phil another year. If we have too many more missteps,
isn't that Matt Booty's job?
Well, that's exactly right.
Okay. Me personally, I'm not feeling him. I don't have confidence.
Phil has taken the fall for everything that Xbox, all their missteps. There's no question about it, because he's the face of the franchise. Maybe this was largely on Matt Booty, who seems to be largely remainingly silent. You never hear him come out and hardly ever make a statement on anything. So, and that's the thing, is transparency. This is why fans are so misinformed or start coming to conclusions, because there's no transparency. Okay. Nobody knows what the fuck is happening. Mm-hmm. There's nobody saying, well, the games are this far in development right now and things are looking good. You don't even hear that. You hear crickets. It's nothing until the show comes up, and then you go, where's that game? They announced
I don't know. Someone real recently said to me, I think it was, I don't know, the guy who said this to me usually doesn't have any good takes at all. But I mean, this was one. It's pretty rare he has takes. But he said, he said, Matt, oh fuck! I've lost my point now because I was just watching this gameplay schmozzle here. What are you trying to do, Bob? Why are you building 50 bridges? Just go attack them.
No, it's because so you're limited on your height of bridges, so you have to go up in tiers from the different levels of the platforms, and then one thing I was alluding to earlier with Fabio is your mobs that you bring up there to fight with you, they will literally fall off the edge of the platforms, and the only way to get them back is to go back down and round them up, and it is a pain in the ass. Please make them smarter.
This guy who had the one great take said he was watching that interview with and I'm pretty sure this guy's going to realize who I'm talking about in a minute. He was watching this interview between Matt Booty about Fable, and he was like, "Oh, I want to show Fable. What do you guys got?" And he was like, "Yeah, we got nothing." We got nothing yet. We don't want to show it." And Matt was like, "Oh, okay. You guys are like steering the ship here. Like that's Matt's job. Matt should be steering the ship. Matt should be like, we'll get something fucking ready right now. I want it up for the next show."
I mean,
Now
I just
I can't remember who
just,
this guy was who had that great take, but it was a great take.
I just want to point out, like, I just love the fact that 20 or 30 minutes ago, this started with, I'm gonna make my argument short and brief here.
Ah, that's all good. Um,
It's all good. I just love to be an asshole.
I'm gonna
Sorry.
move on to the next topic, and this is one that I've done a little. Probably none of y'all saw coming, and I don't know if any of y'all have even heard of it. But I've done my research,
Oh,
and this.
God. Oh God, we are talking about ball sacks again.
Yep, this is fact. Okay, so everybody keeps saying Unreal Engine 5, Unreal Engine 5. When are we going to get a game that's actually an Unreal Engine 5? Unreal Engine 5 is the answer. Unreal Engine 5 will be so much more compatible, so much more efficient, and whatnot. And I think a lot of the problems right now that Xbox is having with game development is Unreal Engine 5 has kind of seen a shift from 4 to 5. Unreal Engine 4 is actually a little more forgiving than 5 is. Because with Unreal Engine 5, if you noticed, it all started when Sony bought a small percentage in ownership in Epic. And then Unreal Engine 5, we got that demo first publicized by Sony, showing us Lumens and their take on global illumination. Did you know? Okay, so and this also goes a little step further into the problem we're seeing right now in PC optimization. While we're seeing games ported from PlayStation that are having such an issue on PC. Up until this time, everything that's went to PC that has been coded in DirectX APIs has been fine. We have not had an issue. Now we're seeing an issue now that everything's running DirectX 12. And did you know that Unreal Engine 5, the Lumens, there is actually no API in Unreal Engine 5 to allow the Lumens lighting system to take advantage of hardware. They do not call out ray tracing cores, hardware cores in Unreal Engine 5. So unless they figure out how to get Lumen to work with DirectX 12 hardware cores, then Series X is going to have a really shitty ray tracing look on Unreal Engine 5. And yes, this does make me think that this was strategy, Sony's partial ownership in Epic, because what does the PlayStation 5 not have? Hardware ray tracing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I've seen this.
Yeah, I mean, AMD sucks at ray tracing, anyways. Though, you know, on top of that, you know what I mean? Like they're not good at it, you know, compared to Nvidia.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's an issue too. You know,
I've just seen so much and read so much lately about the issues with the industry steering away from DirectX 12 Ultimate, and as long as I can remember, it kind of shocks me because as long as I can remember, DirectX 12 was, or DirectX in period, was always the pinnacle of game development and APIs and memory and CPU draws and everything. And it's just, and now it looks like Sony really is running this show because they don't use it.
Are you saying that Sony is doing what they accused Xbox might do with Call of Duty?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. The reason I asked that is I actually been thinking that myself. I hate to be a conspiracy guy, but they complained so bad about that. Like, it was kind of random that they said something like that. It always stuck with me. And then after that, we have issues with games, and I'm like, and they got a contract too for the parody thing. It's like, listen, they're doing a lot of stuff behind the closed doors that we don't know about that shady. And when it came time for the show and tell at the CMA and FTC or whatever, they pulled back. No way I want anybody to see any of this stuff. I couldn't wait to see their paperwork for that stuff, man. I really wanted to see how they were operating and what kind of deals they were making behind closed doors. It might still come out if they're still getting investigated by the United States, but I doubt it, though.
Yeah,
But
I doubt
I
it.
think the same thing, though. It just seems odd to me that one console keeps one up in the other one, which is more powerful.
Yeah,
So it's
and
just odd to me.
I mean, and they have Unreal Engine 4 and 5 and 5.2, and they've got a foothold in that company, and they're steering. I mean, I can't believe there's Unreal Engine 5, the Lumen Global Illumination, doesn't have an API call for hardware cores. What other major brand or video card or console do we know that doesn't have hardware ray tracing cores? It's the PS5. So that tells me that direction it's directed directly at that. I mean, because we're talking about video cards that are on Unreal Engine 5 aren't going to be able to. I mean, if they're using a Lumen, I mean, if you got enough muscle, you're going to be able to pull ray tracing whatsoever, but you're not going to be able to use their Lumen technology because there is no hardware core draw.
Yeah,
to help
I
that.
think that a lot of that has to do with. I think it's the same reason why we see the things that we do with the Series X and the PS5 is because, you know, and we have to admit it. I know this is an Xbox centric show, but you know, PS5 is the market leader, right? So like they're going to have more eyes, they're going to create more games. So I think, my personal opinion, I think that's why a lot of times you see either parity or a slightly inferior version on the Xbox, is because, you know, they're the market leader and they may have a more focus on that. So if the PS5 doesn't have hardware ray tracing, well, if they're not getting as many eyes or as many games or as many, you know, butts and seats with that console in front of their face, you know, what's their incentive, you know what I mean, to utilize that hardware, you know what I mean? Same reason why I think a lot of the times that Series X gets overlooked when it comes to, you know, utilizing its full potential, because of either there's parity there, that's part of either a contractual agreement, word of mouth, or they just choose to keep things even kill because they want to, you know, it's less work. You know what I mean? Like, okay, they pump out a PS5 version. This looks great. All right, do the same thing with the Series X. Yeah, it's got extra T-flops, but whatever. That's, you know, so it's either that, or they're not going to utilize it, because if the more, you know, I guess the bigger market share console doesn't have this access to this feature, then maybe they're just like, okay, well, maybe it's not as big of a priority. You know what I mean? So
Well, we should
I mean,
we should
Actually,
probably we should definitely fire Phil for that. I think
you know,
The end of the
I can
day,
sign the paperwork. You let me know. We could chop the snake, man.
I do
think Power Man's onto something on that one, because it just seems like that's exactly what it is. Like, well, why do the extra work for third party teams? At least first party, we should be seeing some real gold, but
yes,
third party is going to be what it's going to be, I believe, unfortunately.
look, I don't think that Epic's doing this to exclude hardware ray tracing. I just think that they've got that software solution in there for systems that aren't using it. Unreal's not just for console, so I don't think they specifically focus on one area whenever they develop the software for Unreal. I think they use Unreal's a very broad spectrum engine, right? So I think that those solutions need to be in there. And then I think if they're honing in on any specific APIs, then that might limit them. They are working on some issues that they have with DirectX 12 as well. I mean, I think back in 2022 they were having issues with the PSO, so they're working on that. And I believe they resolved that, which stopped some of the stuttering and the hitching that you used to get. It still is an issue, a little bit of an issue. You'll see it in Fortnite if you play Fortnite in 5.1. There is some stuttering and issues there, but I don't think they've stopped working on features and I can't think of the word now, but like lining up with DirectX 12 because it's that's PC. You're talking PC, you're not just talking Xbox, and Xbox isn't just DirectX 12 either. It's got DirectX 12, but it's its own API, as is PlayStation as well. So yeah,
and PlayStation run Lumen? Do they have for it to run Lumen?
Yeah, PlayStation can run Lumen. It's a software solution.
Yeah, it's a software ray tracing, not hardware.
The Xbox can't, right?
Yeah, but it's global illumination ray type of ray. It's not even really ray tracing. It's more of a ray tracing solution. So another solution. Yeah, as opposed. The thing is with ray tracing, I really am starting to think, and yeah, we got like I agree with you, Powerman. Like we sort of got sold a bit of a not a dud, but we got sold a bit of marketing bullshit when it came to ray tracing at the outset of the the generation. We were being told 60 FPS, it's got hard ray tracing, it's got this, it's got that, and we all sort of assumed, like that, or hoped, I guess, that you'd be able to use all these features, but I mean it's just not the case. That the power's not there.
They made it sound like it was going to be a feature that was on everything. I'm so serious. Like when I got games, I was looking for an option to turn on ray tracing, and the only game I had to do that was Watch Dogs Legions, and it looked horrible with it. I mean, the ray tracing looked great, but it went down to 30. I do agree that we get lied to way too much.
Yeah,
over promise or whatever you want to call it. We get that way too much industry wide, but I still blame Xbox for that too, because of the fact that, like you said, I assumed maybe it's just, like, I'm gonna keep saying it's my assumption. All right, fine, I'll take my blame for it, but it felt like it was going to be something that was going to be right then and there. Like, hey, when we get the console, we should be able to do this. We should be able to play this and have this. And it just felt like for the last 2-3 years now.
Yeah,
it's come up short with that. It's
I expect when I bought Valhalla. I bought Valhalla, like that was like basically a launch title. You know what I'm saying? I fully expected that to have every feature that I was sold to in 2019 whenever they dropped the Series X at the Game Awards. You know what I mean? With all these crazy features that they were talking about, and the fact that the Series X does have so many advantages over the PS5, full RDNA 2 and hardware ray tracing cores, and the 52 CUs that are locked at a certain frequency, and they're not variable, right? So like, there's a lot of things that this box can do, and that's what drives me crazy. It's like, I know for a fact that this box can do the things that they say that they can do. The hardware's there. They've just got to figure out what they need to do to utilize the full power. Maybe it's what Riskit said, it needs to be built from the ground up. But I do think that there needed to be a little bit more foresight. If you're going to drop a console that isn't going to be able to utilize, 50% of the features until you build games from the ground up. I mean, I don't know. It feels like weird timing, right? To drop something that you can only use. It's like buying a Corvette that only has 4 cylinders and you can't use the other 4. You know what I mean? Like, you got a cool car and it looks great, but you can only drive 60 miles an hour. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it's just, I think it's built up frustration. And like I said, listen, Xbox still has a million things that I love over the PlayStation. It has a controller that was built that can't hand it around up my hand, and I think a lot of people's hands. It's the best controller I've ever put in my hands, bar none. I love the fact that it has quick resume. I love the backwards compatibility. I think they're the absolute kings of that. I'm really sad they stopped, but I love the work that they put in to go back there and bring back a lot of games that I loved in the 360 and the original Xbox era. So the Xbox has a lot of cool things. It's just the future tech and the stuff that we really want to see as gamers. Those big AAA, mind-melting, blow your fucking head off type of games. And I think that whenever we saw the Series X and we were told it was eating monsters for breakfast and it was a 12 T-flop, that the Tower of Power, you know what I'm saying? And we were fed all this nonsense, and then it turns out that
can't get 60 frames.
And it's struggling against the PS5 that's 9.2 T-flops. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I think that most of the industry is just frustrated more than anything, man. But hopefully they can just get these tools, whatever it is they need to do, man, to figure this stuff out. Hopefully we start to see the fruits of the labor. But like I said, and it's like Noof said, man, I would not want to be the Starfield developers right now, because June 11th is like it's like D-Day. June 11th is D-Day for Xbox, in my opinion, when it comes to the future of the brand and where it's going and what people can look forward to. Because if Starfield drops and Redfall releases, I hate to say it, guys, but Redfall is not going to do well as it stands right now. I don't see that game being overly successful with all the negative attention it's already gotten.
I will guarantee that Starfield will be probably the smoothest launch we have ever seen from Bethesda.
God, Bobby.
Oh my God! Why would you say that out loud?
Bobby? I wish.
Because look, we cannot be the only ones that think that there is this much writing on this release of this game. This game, it's huge.
No,
they know how monumental this is. That's why it was delayed an
Bobby,
entire year.
Cyberpunk had so much writing. Remember all the promises they made about Cyberpunk? Oh my God!
Yeah, but Cyberpunk only ran well on certain systems. Starfield is built for the Series X and the PC.
No, I don't think it was.
I
don't think it was built for the Series X.
No, it definitely isn't built for the Series X and maybe the PC. But
somebody help me!
It was.
I'm being drugged out to the alley and being beaten down by panelists and my guests. Oh my God! Stop it! Don't hit me! Don't kick me there! I need my face! Oh my God!
It wasn't built for. Hang on a minute, Dan. It wasn't built for. It wasn't built for the Series X. Right? Nothing that we've seen has been built for the Series X. Like we have, and nothing that we're about to see has been built for the Series X. Not even Starfield. Like Starfield wasn't built from the ground up for the Series X. And mesh things like mesh shaders, and all that sort of stuff needs.
At the bottom,
from the bottom up, exactly. And you got to have a plan to do that. And look, do they have the developers that know how to do that? I don't know. But do I think Epic's like trying to get away from Xbox? No, I mean, I just think Epic's making things more accessible for PlayStation developers and and giving more options. And that's what Epic does. And if you watch the entire Epic unveil. When they were doing the Hellblade thing, and that's what everyone focused in on. What Epic wants to do in the future going forwards, really, really exciting. And it's not about excluding anyone; it's about including every system and bringing as many developers into the fold as they can possibly get, and making things easier for those developers so that we can get in the end great content, which is what it's about. Content is king. So, yeah, I don't think it's anything to worry about, Bob. I understand what you're saying, but I don't think they're trying to dodge the Xbox API. I don't think that's their plan.
Oh man, why you gotta ruin my conspiracy theory like that?
Well, it makes sense, Bobby. I'll say at least
a good conspiracy theory. So, the FTC has got their teeth kicked in here recently. I actually was not aware of this story, and I'm going to let Riskit4TheBiskit open it up for the panel discussion because it's pretty funny. Go for it, Riskit.
Man, I've been following the news.
No, I haven't been following the news. You got me.
We've all checked out of that shit, bro. We I see like the word FTC and like whatever that lady's name is, and I'm like, okay, keep fucking scrolling. Like,
I do too. I'm not even gonna lie.
I mean, look, I know everyone's sick of it, but it is coming to a close soon, and I do. I don't like to talk American politics with people.
Yes, you do.
I do not. But what I like to do is I watch a fair bit of what's going on over there. And one of the things that came up recently was I believe it's the Energy and Commerce panel where they basically rate the FTC over the coals. Now, the FTC are looking for an increase in funds. And there was a lot that was brought up, like a lot. It's a 3-hour basically grilling of the FTC. And it was fun to watch. One of the things that came up is that with the amount of cases that they've lost, it's cost the FTC, which is America basically, you guys, taxpayers, $8.2 billion. So what they have lost over and as compared to what they've gained for profit and loss, they've lost a lot more than they've gained. So when you litigate and you want to find someone, that money goes into their coffers. And everything they've litigated has cost them and not made them money. They've had a couple of litigations that went well for them, but nothing in the digital, nothing really in the digital sort of market, which is sort of her wheelhouse, right? Shia Khan's wheelhouse. She was going after the digital market. And it's been brought up. I mean, everything that we've been saying over these past few, couple of years. I can't believe it's been years. But everything we've been saying over these past couple of years, over and over again, that they're stepping outside their remit. She's trying to create laws instead of going with previous precedents that have been set. She got asked. One of the things she got asked is, "Why are you siding with the market leader?"
Yes.
Against what the FTC is about. You're not supposed to create more of a lead for a market leader. You're supposed to make sure that there's competition within the market so consumers aren't hurt, which is what's been happening. I mean, we are hurt by the market leader. Xbox has $70 games directly as a result of the market leader raising their games, the two market leaders, if you like, raising their games to $70. PlayStation and 2K. They decided they were going to raise it to $70, and the whole industry follows, and it hurt the whole industry. I mean,
I would literally, I'll do is, like, even after today, well, this is the sales came out in Japan between the Xbox Series X and the Series S, it sold less than 300 units. Okay, 300 units. Let that sink in a month. 300 units. The PlayStation did 39,000. So somebody's definitely dominating in Japan. So why is that? Why is there such a massive margin? Like, why? Is it they just can't stand Xbox that much over there, or is there something seriously aloof? Because PlayStation is and Xbox are pretty tight in North America for the most part. But like I said, you look over there and it's just such a, it's not even like remotely close. Like, it's insulting. Like, man, if I was Xbox, I'd just pull. I'm sorry, I'd pull my shit out of there.
PlayStation dominates the UK too. I mean, like, that's
the
that's
UK,
a
I
fact,
can't answer for. I can't answer.
And that was another thing. That was another thing they
like their own company.
That was another thing they actually brought up. Is they brought up that why does the FTC seem to be colluding with the EU and the CMA against Xbox? There obviously needs to be cooperation. It's what Shia Khan brought up. There obviously needs to be cooperation and information sharing, but not to the point where they're literally colluding and looking at each other's homework and saying, "Hey, we're going to do this. What are you going to do? We think you should do this." That's outside their remit. So she really is stepping outside of her remit.
So not only is the FTC supposed to look into making sure that things are kept fair in the market, but because the FTC is an American institution, they also need to make sure that American companies are not being mistreated in other regions under other regulatory institutes, and they are not doing that. You're completely correct, Riskit. They are colluding with the other the CMA and the FTC Japan. They're not. They need to stand up for, an American company. They are an American regulatory body, and they need to call it out when another one is being taken advantage of in other regions, such as Japan and the UK. It's not right.
And they need to stand up for the consumers. The whole point of them existing is to regulate, anti-competitive tactics that are coming from the industry. And the problem is that it seems to be that that PlayStation and Sony have been the thing that they're trying to protect instead of the average consumer, which is why they exist in the first place. It's why it's been so weird ever since the CMA dropped that really weird tweet where they were using emojis and talking about how good PlayStation was and how bad Xbox was. That's when I was like, wow, this is going really deep in the bias era of, like, maybe they just hate Microsoft because they're such a big successful corporation, or it's just that maybe the PlayStation's just that popular. I don't like to think that, because I see in North America and like other places, and in my personal experience, I know plenty of people that own an Xbox. I know a lot of people that own a PlayStation, but I still seems to be a pretty healthy market over here. It's just they can't break out. You know, Japan is like nigh impossible, and the UK is dominated. Riskit, how is Xbox compared in Australia? Like in your personal experience, like do you see a lot of PlayStation down there?
Well, I actually don't own an Xbox. I only have PlayStation. So.
Oh, shit. Are you joining a party every night on your phone or something?
No, look. Yeah, look. It's so Australia is a PlayStation country, most definitely. But I believe I'm in an Xbox state. And I also think that Xbox has done a lot that appeals to the younger crowd. Because for a little while there, and I still occasionally do, I was doing Uber. And if I got a kid in the car, like a kid anywhere from maybe 14 up to his 20s, I would hit him up about gaming, and then I'd be like, where do you game? And resoundingly, what I got back was Xbox. So I believe the state that I'm in is a very green state. But I think that I know overall PlayStation is more popular within Australia. But I think that is sort of changing over here. But I don't understand how or why, because you don't see any marketing for Xbox over here. So I don't know. I obviously understand. I was talking to one of the people that I work with. She had a Pokemon tattoo on her ankle, so I obviously hit her up about gaming. She does game, but she only has a PlayStation and a Switch. Had no idea about Game Pass, so obviously I slid up with the good book and I was like, "Have you heard about Game Pass?"
Yeah, you slid in there with a good book, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Like, let me read you some of this Xbox gospel. Let me tell you right now. This is what I'm telling you. Listen to me. I know what I'm doing. This is the right way.
Have you let Game Pass into your heart? Look, there's definitely an extreme disparity, and it's not just got to do with, I think, the FTC at this point siding in that deal. That's obviously digital marketing deals, and the governmental bodies not really having oversight. That is the FTC, but not just the FTC, like the JFTC, which is Japanese Federal Trade Commission. Them not properly doing their job. And having oversight within their own country. The FTC should then be taking it to Congress and saying, hey, by the way, I don't know if you know, but there's this extreme disparity for our American company over in Japan. You guys need to start reaching out and having discussions about how we're going to, shift this to more of a fair market. So obviously there is things that the FTC should and could have done. But I think a lot of this, when it comes to Lena Khan, I think she has a lot of bias against Microsoft based on the Microsoft of the 90s. And I think she sees them as a big tech giant. And I think, when it comes to Microsoft, Google, Amazon, these big tech giants, Meta or Facebook, whatever you want to call it. I think when she looks at these companies, I think she just sees bad, doesn't see any good, and doesn't really look at the market. And I think you can see that based on the way that she's behaved during the entire deal. Even the CMA, the EU, everyone is sort of, Brazil, South Africa. I think Australia's made a decision. No one cares about what Australia says. So, New Zealand has yet to make that. I think everyone has turned around with this deal and said, yeah, well, actually, when you look at the facts, the figures, this is good for competition as a whole. However, this is where I'll sort of come to, and I've had multiple discussions, and I think the Xbox community is a little bit selfish. When it comes to consolidation, I'm against it as a whole. I don't want to see Xbox then go out and head over and try to take over 2K. I don't want that to happen. I don't think that's a good thing, because that always leaves us.
WB.
I don't. I don't want them to get anything else that's huge.
WB.
If Xbox takes over Ubisoft, it'll take them fucking 10 years to put out one game. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So
yeah, great.
You okay with WB though, right?
I would be okay with WB as a whole, because then that would put them into another market. So that puts them into if they bought the entire of WB
properties,
that would give them a legitimate Spider-Man competitor.
And it also puts them into the movie business, and then it creates an opportunity for them to take some of their great IPs like Gears of War, which they're already doing, like Gears of War, and put them into have more control, creative control. I mean, and we saw what happened with The Last of Us when Druckmann was involved.
Damn.
So Yeah. Oh, he is
Yeah.
a dickhead, man. He's talented. He's talented. There's no doubt. But the guy's just an arrogant prick. Like, anyway.
Yeah.
But
I
like,
don't like the guy.
yeah, when you see what he managed to do, being involved, the game director, his baby, they made a good series. And I think if
Yep.
Xbox got WB, they could bring their game directors in and go, "Hey, you're not going to fuck with our law. You're not going to fuck with it. This is what we're gonna do. We're going to stay true to the gamers, and it'll get success in that way." But when it comes to any more consolidation, I'm against it. ABK helps to level the playing field, and if it does that, I'm for it. If it doesn't do that, I don't want a market that we live in at the moment, where one is so much bigger than the other one, it's laughable.
So I want to give a quick shout out to some folks in the chat. Some that I know that the 9:00 hour for Game Set Live is a little kind of in the middle, and we kind of start before other shows are over, and no problem with that. I'm actually very appreciative that you stayed on YouTube to catch our show after you watched someone else's. That means a lot. That means dedication. I do want to give a big shout out to Boba Fett Gaming and Shooter. Man, it's always great to see you. Gray Monad, Infinite Umbra. I caught your show earlier, and I was very impressed. I think you've got a good mix there, man. You're gonna fall asleep. But yeah, I really did enjoy your show, Umbra.
I thought it was terrible show.
God, you see, this is horrible. That's horrible. That's horrible. I'm not listening to you. I'm not listening to you. Nope. Nope. Yeah, that's right. And it's Timmy. It's Timmy joining late, but always here. Yeah, it is great to see you, sir. And Two Pet Stack 7. Great to see you too, man. Glad you stopped by.
Disney Delta, baby, what's up?
Oh, yeah, that's right. And I wanted to give a big shout out to Red Wolf. It just said something in the chat. Red Wolf, whenever you're free, sir. Yeah, I'm gonna steal you away from Zimmy Games. That's right. That's right. Anyway, on to our next topic. The last topic of the night, because I know life is calling, and I try and keep the show around an hour and a half. What?
Actually, it's not life, it's the bad. But yeah, go on.
Okay, well, yeah. Come on. I mean, you can classify life however you want, Fabio. But so, correction on the last episode of Game Set Live, I read a story from GameSpot that they kind of alluded to what they thought would be a good price for Ubisoft Plus, and it turns out that is not the price for Ubisoft Plus. The price for Ubisoft Plus is actually a price that I don't think any Game Pass subscriber is going to pay. I honestly would have gotten Ubisoft Plus for $4.99 a month. I would have gotten it right away. For $17.99 a month, you can suck my thumb. I'm not getting that. I own all those games already anyway. I'm already paying $15 a month for Game Pass Ultimate. Why do I want to pay even more than that for your small library of games when I'm getting 300 plus for $15?
It's $25.
Yeah.
What? What?
Yeah, I think it's significantly more. I haven't even had a look because I've played everything that I want to play from Ubisoft. But I can't believe that everyone, I did hear your show and I was like, hang on a minute, what is going on here, man? And I wish that at the time I could have jumped in and done the old, but
Wah, wah.
But I hoped, but I just knowing what Ubisoft is like, man, they were never going to bundle. That was never going to happen. They're all about the cash.
And even throwing out a price that's even more than Game Pass, I'm like, are you fucking nuts? They can't have a lot of subscribers. That's just nuts. Because, like you said, any Ubisoft game that I wanted to play, I've already purchased that game. And the only thing you have in the future is the new Assassin's Creed Mirage. Okay, that's
And their games are always on sale. Like their games are like $15 most of the time. Like you catch them on a sale. You can buy every. I bought every Assassin's Creed, I think, from like the first one all the way through till Valhalla, and I don't think I didn't pay full price for any of them because they go on sale a month after they release. That's just what Ubisoft does. So like the idea of paying $18 a month to access games I could just buy for $10 to $20 on a spring or a winter sale. I mean, no thanks, man.
Yeah, but I mean, look, I look at it this way, so I do look at it as a positive because if you got to use it right. And I had a really good conversation with Red Dead Panda, in which she stole some of my comments, and I will want them back at a later date.
You're not going to get it. You're not going to get it because I gave her the knees that you owe me. I gave her the knees that you owe me, so she actually owns those comments now. So,
what were the knees for?
The knees were missing last week's podcast.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, and what was that one show where I said that they would be over 10 minutes before coming on? Or you owe me knees?
Not for that. No. You gotta put the knees on the table.
Oh, geez, you put
enough of that.
Okay. Anyway, I look at it in a positive light. There is a lot of subscription fatigue going on. It's fucking subscriptions for everything, and one that I have a bone to pick with is Microsoft when it comes to their Office suite. Like having a subscription service for for what do they call it? A production, whatever the hell for Word and for Office, that pisses me off. I've got it because I need it. Having a subscription for Disney, Netflix, fucking over here we got Stan, you got over here we got Binge, but you guys got HBO, we got Paramount Plus. There's like so many subscriptions and we all have subscription fatigue. So what I've started doing, and I will do this with Ubisoft, is when they release Mirage, I'll get it for, what was that that I think Shooter said was 21. So over here it's $21 dues. So I will pay the $21 dues. And then I'll play the game and then I'll uninstall it, and then I'll cancel my subscription. And that I think is, if you use it like that, then you can get value out of it. But I mean, you got to look at it from a positive light. This one, I think.
I did the same thing with Diablo 4. I pre-ordered the game so I could get the closed beta weekend, and then Monday morning, I did that too. Monday morning, I canceled my pre-order. And then I was able to play the open beta with the game that I had saved through the closed beta that I got access to the weekend before. And now we found out we've got another beta coming. Yes.
Oh, have we?
Yes.
Where'd we find that out?
Yes, we found it out today. It'll be May 12th through the 14th. They are calling it the Crash the Servers beta. They want everybody online, and they want to see what it takes to crash their servers. May 12th through May 14th.
Well, holy shit, I did not know that.
Yes, that's right. I hope you didn't install that Diablo 4 demo because you're going to need it.
What he really did it there here with my
Actually, I think that came down a few hours before the show. Shout out to Thember for throwing that in the news section. Yes.
Thember's always on point with this stuff, man.
Dude, I love him. He's awesome.
Yeah, Simba, you got to head over to my Discord and put this news in there. I'm disappointed in you. I'm also a little bit upset.
I'm trying to find it right now. I'm not.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I can't wait for that. I love the Diablo. I loved 2 back in the day, but I didn't like the new release of 2. I did not like 3. I just could not get into it. It just was not my thing. But I love 4, man. So this is good.
So this is really odd.
Just knows.
Go ahead. So this is really odd. So I've heard bad things said about 3 since the 4 betas have ran, and I remember playing 3, and I didn't really remember having an issue with 3, and I thought, well, maybe after I've played 4, I'll now have a problem with 3. And so, like I said, I've got Diablo 3, the Ultimate Evil Edition with all the content, and I've been playing it, and no, I actually enjoy it. It is actually feeding that urge that was created by playing Diablo 4 beta. Maybe we're remembering it different, but other than a little bit of the art style in Diablo 3, I feel like it's the same game. I really
Bobby,
do.
I know you ain't been playing Diablo 3 without me, man. I know I didn't hear that right.
Well, yeah, I kind of sort of have. I mean,
Wow.
I'm not hiding offline.
You know,
If you see me, bro, you just gotta join in.
Yeah, you know, I may have I've played a little bit of Diablo 3, man. You know, I feel like I don't even know what to say right now. I need some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, three just was very static. It played in a very static way. So every time you moved, your guy would sort of stop. And I mean, I know people say that's just a Diablo thing, but I mean, that was the reason that they did that back in the day, is because they couldn't figure out how to make characters move. I know it's not a twin stick shooter. I get it. But I just wanted a little bit more movement, and Diablo 4 gave me that. I think they hit like all the right notes with the beta.
The one thing
bang on.
I don't like about Diablo 3 that I'll just say right now is that the same stick, the left analog stick, the same one you use to move, that is the same one that you use to direct your spell or your attack.
Yeah.
And the right one is used to dodge, and that just threw me off so bad. It was,
and the end game of Diablo 3 is actually like a lot faster than Diablo 4, at least from what we played. You know what I mean? Like, there's people have actually been praising Diablo 4's, like, you know, they've been calling it back to Diablo 2 because Diablo 2 was more of a more methodical, more I guess like intentional, and what your spells were going, where they were going. You know, when you get like set pieces in Diablo 3, you just become so crazy overpowered. Now I play a demon hunter, and you set these traps, and you can literally like shadow flip all over the map, and you're just killing everything that you see. So it's like it becomes really fast paced on like the higher tiers of the torments and the rifts and stuff. So Diablo is a kind of a breath of fresh air if you don't want to be like, you know, cracked out trying to like keep track of like cooldowns and spells. At least from what I could tell, it seems to be more akin to Diablo 2. And obviously the atmosphere is awesome, and the cutscenes are amazing, and you know that's probably my most hyped game of the year right now. Like, I can't think of anything else I'm more excited
it'll be
about.
the next game that I pay for. I've only paid for 2 games this year, one of them being Dead Island 2.
Yeah.
And the other one is going to be Diablo 4. I won't pay for any other games. Those are the 2.
You're not going to buy Jedi Survivor? You're not buying Jedi Survivor?
Well,
that's a great idea, actually.
I keep forgetting that one. Yeah, I've already paid for that one.
Yeah, that's a week after.
Hold on. I want to ask it on Power Man. So your most anticipated. So it's over Lies of P, Starfield.
Yes, not even close. Not even
really.
Close. Yeah, not even close. I've got probably I don't know how many hours I have in Diablo 3, because for some reason whenever I first started playing it didn't count hours played, like on like I guess back whenever it was you know, because it was like a cross-gen thing. You know, it originally released on the PS3 and the 360. You know what I mean? I think it came out in 2011.
Yep.
So I played an absolute fuck ton of that on the OG consoles.
A fuck ton.
But I've played Diablo. I mean, I played the first Diablo on a computer when I was like fucking a kid. You know what I mean? So Diablo to me, and it was always like that Blizzard title, because I was always intrigued whenever like I was a teenager whenever a World of Warcraft came out, and I was always intrigued by that game because of everybody talking about it. And you know, back then that was when it was at its peak, and there were like 12 million people playing online at one time. And Wrath of the Lich King and all this kind of crazy stuff. But I always kind of like Diablo. I've always been like fascinated with like the heaven and hell and the angels and demons and like that whole thing that they try to sell you with the lore and shit. And yeah, I was pretty into it, man. I follow all the YouTubers and like Riker and all those big guys. They just had a stream today. That's where this stuff came from. With one of their like the prominent YouTubers that talks about all the information about Diablo and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, dude, like honestly, I mean, unless Xbox drops like a crazy bomb on me, like if we start seeing Fable, as of right now, Fable's probably my most hyped Xbox game that's coming out in the future. But if they drop a bomb on me, like I'm curious where I would like to see Indiana Jones, man. A new movie's coming out. It'd be a great time to show some Indiana Jones content right now. You know what I mean? Like it actually has some good stuff. We'll see.
Yeah.
I think Diablo this year is going to be the Elden Ring of last year. I think it's going to be super popular, and the numbers are going to be crazy.
Okay, so big shout out to Thember. Not only is Thember the only non-panel moderator in the chat, but he is also the only faculty member that I have deemed in the Discord, and he has just thrown it out. The last tweet from Diablo. It's actually a little funny. It says, "There are still wolf puppies that need a home. Reach level 20 in the server slam, May 12th through May 14th to earn the wolf pack." Oh,
I'll get it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have me a wolf pack and a backpack.
If you beat the world boss, if you beat Ashava or whatever her name is, if you beat that world boss in the beta, you get like a special. It's like a demon horse mount or whatever during this server crash test. So make sure if you're gonna do it and you're gonna get on there, group up with some people and go fucking kill that world boss.
Dude.
I don't know if you guys did that. Did you guys do that in the last beta?
No, I haven't beat the world boss yet, but I've already looked at my schedule for work. I will have off work that weekend. We do need to team up, brother. You may or may not have to carry me through that. Yes.
You got to run like something with magic because Barb sucks. The melee. That's one thing they're going to have to do is they're going to have to balance the melee because right now, melee to magic just isn't even close. Like the sorcerer and the necro with like corpse explosion. I did see they're nerfing that because that's ridiculously overpowered. But sorcerer is still ridiculous.
You should have access, Riskit, to the news section where Thember just threw that in there. You should.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I should, but I don't. No, I do.
Am I the only one in the group that's a Diablo guy?
It says it's your last chance before launch. Right.
I'm not buying it.
Yeah, but I got my puppy.
You got
already,
your puppy?
so
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got my puppy. I played the shit out of that game. Played it with Infinite Umbra. I don't know if you guys have heard of Infinite Umbra, but he has a terrible show that he's just started. And that's a great show, man. He's actually done really, really well, and he's an extremely particular man. So played a bit with him, played a bit with Pete, played a little bit with Panda as well, in a very PG way. And yeah, I love it was a great beta, man. I'm super stoked that it's come back, and yeah, Bushido, if you don't like Diablo, can someone please block this man, remove him from the chat?
God damn!
Boo this man!
Oh, the hatred is real.
Jeez.
Well, I'm not buying it.
Oh, why not? Noof? Seriously?
Not my jam, man.
Have you actually ever played with a group of people, though?
Yeah, I played
Yeah,
Diablo 3. It was all right.
I played with him a few times.
Meh.
He's actually a pretty good point man.
Yeah, Noof would
when you get like four people on screen and everybody's just like popping off on all their abilities and stuff, it gets pretty cool, man. And now with Diablo 4, it's like a persistent open world. So the weirdest thing about this game is like, going through and you're fighting all this shit, and then all of a sudden, and it's weird for me because I've never played a Diablo that had this, but then you see like another person just off like fucking doing their own thing or waiting on a world boss to spawn or something like that. So it's pretty cool in that aspect of it, and it's fully crossplay. So like, if you're on Xbox, PC, or PlayStation, like everybody can play. Everybody uses a BattleNet account, so there's no barriers. You know what I mean? You can play it wherever you want.
Cool.
Pretty cool.
It's truly inclusive. That's right.
Yeah.
Play anywhere. Do anything.
Play anywhere. But on that note, yeah, I think we're done. We're done for the night. I want to, run down the panel here. Make sure everybody knows where they can find these wonderful people that have been on the show tonight. Fabio Amorim. Sir, where can people find you at, sir? I understand you have your own show now, Mr. Host. Your host class, big time.
Yeah, I just need to have time to edit the episodes that I already recorded. But yeah, you can find me not just here as a panel member of this lovely show, but you can find me as well as the host of the little show that I call Dev Overtime, where I interview actual game developers to talk about the industry that we all know and love. You can find me as well on Twitter as FBOAmorim97 and on Xbox as BullFunLizard8. Thank you very much.
All right.
He's clapping himself. He's clapping himself.
I love it when the guy grows himself. I mean, Fabio, he helped start a channel with the XBL Party Podcast, and now he's become a panelist on my channel, and now he's hosted his own show. I love to see growth in the community as far as people on YouTube. It's so awesome to see. Good job, brother. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much.
Mr. Bushido N7, where can people find you?
Here.
And
Yeah, buddy.
and
Yeah, buddy.
Littering and.
And everywhere else, Mr. Riskito N7. And that's it.
you can't even just outro seriously, can you? You're so disappointing.
No, I just.
Oh my god.
Oh gosh. Noof Nukem, sir, where can people find you at? And I do understand you've got a new big show coming up here in the next couple of months, sir. Please tell us all about that.
Sir, well, you can find me here when I'm not hanging out with these fantastic gentlemen. Yes, I will be in the process of running a brand new podcast. That podcast is going to start on June the 5th, which will be a Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. So right after the XNC podcast. And no definitive panel yet. I'm going to kind of take that one step at a time and feel things out. But it's going to be an amazing podcast. It will be very similar to Gaming After Dark, but I think it's going to be even crazier. Trust me on that. It's got some shit. I've got some stuff planned for this.
Wow.
I'm going all out on this one, baby. I'm telling you, no holds barred. Yeah. So I will fairly warn people. Noof is going to be unadulterated and fucking more fucking R-rated than ever before. I will be breaking shit down. Let me tell you. You're going to find more rants than ever before.
That time Monday night, KY Luby may be available. I don't know. Yeah.
So now
But
it's
anyway, KY Luby.
To our
So
guests.
it's going to be good. Yeah. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good
I
time. So
look
check it
forward
out.
to it, man. I can't wait to see the direction you take your online career into. I'm excited.
The title is called The Gaming Fuse. Hope you like it.
Fuse, and that's what we really need to do at the end of the day. We need more fusion and less division. I really believe that. Yeah.
Well, it's a fuse because it's like a bomb. It's always ticking and ready to go off.
We're thinking of the wrong fuse. That's not good. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that fusion, baby.
I'm going to move on. Mr. Riskit4TheBiskit, sir, if they haven't already heard about you, where can they find you?
Biscuit!
in your mama's closet.
I love this. I love this damn thing. I'm gonna have to definitely get it going on my show and block all permissions for everyone. No, shooter, it is not Infinite's show, even though he thinks it is. I just want to say to Umbra, yeah. You guys can find me over on YouTube. I'll just post that in the chat. Jump over there if you haven't already. I see all the usual suspects, so you guys probably already over there subscribed. But it was a fantastic show. Love coming on here. Sorry about last week. It was a bit of a fail with the time zones.
Your time zone in the Australia is probably as far away from my time zone as I could possibly get. You're like a full 12 hours, so even the day is a different day. So
yeah,
well,
we're future people. I got to get rid of this thing. I think it might be bad. I might be addicted to the soundboard. But look, yeah, it was a great show, man. You guys can find me over on Twitter at Riskit4TB. We go live on YouTube at that link in the chat every Friday at 8 p.m. EST. Definitely head over to Noof Nukem's because his After Dark show was one of my favorites. I was a lurker, not a chatter, but I'll probably chat a bit more on this one. If you go back to that old formula, man, I really would be excited to come in and check that one out. That's for sure.
I'm not doing the PG shit, man. I'm taking this one to the next level.
Yeah, good. I think that's where you shine, dude. It was a great show, man. Thanks for having me on. Great discussions. Loved everyone's takes except for Power Man's when it came to Phil Spencer.
Damn. Throwing shade on the way out the door. What the?
I said what I said.
And that's me.
All right.
Hey, that was a good show, isn't it?
Yeah. Mr. Bushido, sir?
Yeah. Yes.
Where can people find you at when you're not in the hospital messing with nurses?
We already went to the room.
I think we already said bye to Bushido guy.
We did?
Yeah.
I thought for a second there, the way he said that, I thought I skipped him.
No.
Oh, fuck me. What
We want some British days up there.
Power Man's okay. I was playing it off. I was trying to delay because I know that Power Man's outro is not going to go interrupted by Riskit talking about Phil Spencer. Yeah. Power Man, sir, where can people find you at? And NRHO and Risk.
So I'm Power Man. You can catch me here on Thursdays at 9. I just wanted to say before we go, I really appreciate the Xbox community, man. Like, one good thing about us, dude, is we are able to have discourse and talk and have things that are said, and I feel like other communities aren't able to do that. You know what I mean? So it's really awesome to see that, we could sit back and we could talk about like real tough issues and maybe say things that might not be the nicest things or whatever, but we say it because we have passion for the community. And I just really appreciate that this whole week and the podcast and, seeing people speak up and say how they feel, it's pretty awesome. So, but yeah, you can catch me here on Thursdays. If not, check me out on Twitter. I'm on Xbox. If I'm online, just hit me up. Thanks.
Yeah, can I just jump in quickly? And I just want to add to that.
Oh, come on.
We do have discourse. It is good, man. And I don't have even though you said that, and I hate you. No, even though you said that's like I don't take any of that stuff personally, and I have seen a lot of the community getting personal with people out there. Don't do that shit, man. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, and whatever anyone thinks is valid. And it's good that we can have these conversations and go back and forth and sort of hash out why we think what we think, and it's I always keep an open mind. So if some people might think that I've said something they disagree with, and if they give me a good reason as to why, I'm always open to changing my my opinion and my point of view if you make some good points. So yeah, man, absolutely. We definitely don't have any hold anything against anyone for having an opinion.
Of course. I mean,
real quick. I do want to apologize to Power Man. I was a little aggressive when we had our exchange. So I just want to apologize about that. Yeah, I have a tendency.
It's all good, man. I'm right there with Riskit, dude. I don't take any. Listen, if anybody is taking this stuff personally, you got to reevaluate yourself a little bit. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
risky though.
And
Risky
at
is
the end of the day, it's
real.
video games, bro. At the end of the day, it's just video games, and we're all old guys that play video games, dude. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah, but
I
Rick
take
is
it
a
from
bad
that level.
example because he actually does take stuff like this personal. He doesn't show it here, but you catch him
Well,
inside
he
an
fit
I
it
Xbox
in
won't
party.
be
there.
mad.
Just
I won't
remember,
be
if the
mad
guy
if
went home
you
and he just
screenshot my
required
stuff
3
and do
stitches
an
in his
hour-long show
asshole,
on
it's all good.
Listen, I just want to let y'all know, if you take it personal, I may have to meet y'all in the Bronx. We're going to the Bronx, brother. I'll meet y'all in the corner. I'll meet you with a Billy baseball bat. I'll meet you with my brother. My brother's still on that corner every day long. That's right. He's waiting for people like you, and he called me when he see people like you. And we'll bust up, and we'll kick your ass in the Bronx, man.
No kiss.
That's right. Anyway.
Someone's gonna take the soundboard off me. I swear to God.
Do it now.
All right.
Crack him over the head with the soundboard. Crack him over the head with the soundboard. Do it now.
Do it now.
I don't want to hear his horn anymore.
Oh, God.
Man, you're gonna see him go wild with that tomorrow. Watch.
And this is
yeah.
KY Bob. You can find me on every platform, KY Bob, every social media account, KY Bob, and every Thursday trying to wrangle in this band of misfits that I enjoy spending time with so much. Everybody, have a good weekend. Game on and be safe.